talking about turnovers after the game at Syracuse. Have you identified specific places, areas on the floor, things that guys are doing where you can say, if we stay out of this situation or we don't do this, then we're going to turn the ball over less?
No. Again, it's a wide array of situations. It's not, it's not against. So we turned it over 18 times against their zone. They pressed us a few times. We never turned it over, but we turned it over against their zone. So now they lead the league in steals, so it's not like other people aren't turning it over as well. But no, I just think it's inexperience. It's carelessness. In some cases, I tell our team that turnovers are usually a result of carelessness or selfishness, and neither one of those are good. So, but in our case, it's a lot more careless than it is selfish. And careless can be is a little bit of a bad word, because sometimes it's just not knowing or not understanding, hey, this is not a good spot to get myself into. Or we take one dribble and pick it up when it's kind of a cardinal sin. You don't do that unless you have somebody to pass it to. So I think it's just needed growth in the game and experience of playing against really high-level competition.
Kevin, you've been someone over the course of your career who's been noted for his offensive mind, his basketball mind. I mean, you can go anywhere, you hear the coaches. Buzz Williams called you an offensive savant. But this year...
Sure doesn't look like it, does it?
Yeah, but that's what I'm getting
I wonder if he
to.
thought that after we threw up that 45 spot the other night.
Yeah, that's what I'm getting to. How challenging has this been for you to the offense is not coming together, and you've really had to switch things after Luther? And you think this is probably the hardest challenge in your career?
Yeah, I mean, it's the hardest challenge because I'm trying to do maybe what John Calipari tries to do year in and year out, but I don't have 3 or 4 first-round draft choices after their freshman year, and it's just the situation. I mean, it's not our players' fault. It's not anybody's fault. It's just the situation that we're in, and I think that you see signs. I think our fans can see, our coaches can certainly see signs that Marcus is going to be a very good player, signs that Shamil could be a very good player, Terrell can be a good player. I mean, what Parker did the other night at Syracuse is pretty remarkable. And now it's a matter of them growing and getting the experience and the physicality and strength and the things that are necessary in order to be able to compete consistently in this league. But yeah, we're challenged to score. There's no question. We go through droughts. Those are well documented, and yet it's hard for me because I do pride myself on giving our team good opportunities to score, putting them in good positions, and I continually ask myself, am I doing, am I hitting the right buttons? Am I putting guys in the right spots? So yeah, that's been a challenge, and unfortunately, it's not one that I've completely solved yet.
Who would you credit to that offensive mind? Who you've learned?
Oh, I don't know. I don't want to give anybody the blame. It's not credit. I mean, like I said, we just scored 45. It's more the blame than it is the credit.
Over your career.
I think that from an early age in coaching, I started understanding that sometimes the best offense and the best offensive design was to take advantage of what the defense was taught to do. So if you get the defense in a position to get them to do what they're taught to do, and then you can take advantage of them for it, that was, to me, always the best way to run offense, because you want to get the defense out of position, which that's another great thing. If you can get them out of position through penetration or through post feeds or whatever the case might be. So I would say kind of those two things. What can you do to get the defense out of position? What can you do to take advantage of the position they're supposed to be in? And And then I watched, you know, a lot of coaches, guys that I thought were really intuitive coaches, and I would watch and try to learn and take from what I would see and what I would gather from some of that, so I don't know. It's just I asked Vince Gill one time if there was an unlimited supply of songs that he could write in his head, and he said yes. He said, now they might not all be good songs, but I could write a song right now. And I mean, coaches can draw up plays, and maybe I've got an endless supply of ideas and plays in my head. They're not all good, but it's just kind of wiring, I think. I think some people are wired to the game in a defense. They see it in a defensive lens, and some people see it in an offensive lens. And I guess I've just always seen it from an offensive standpoint, maybe because I couldn't guard anybody. So maybe that's why.
Going into this season, Kevin, knowing the situation that you had with 7 freshmen and 9 first-time Division I guys, was there anyone who you reached out to as far as guidance or maybe insight into this kind of a situation? And as the season's gone on, is that something that you've done, reached out to anyone?
Not really. I've had young teams, never one this young, but I've had young teams, and I think I have an inherent understanding of what young teams need. They don't need somebody in their face and on their butt all the time. They need to be coached hard at the proper times, and they need to be encouraged the rest of the time. And that's what we've tried to do. We've tried to be very encouraging with them, very patient with them. Patience is not my strong suit. But rationally, going into a season, okay, I am going to have to exhibit a tremendous amount of patience, and I've been fine at that. There are some nights that I'm a little better than others, or maybe a little worse than others, but I don't think it's complicated on what you need to do, as long as you have the patience to do it, and that's what I pray for and what I need. I just need to be patient, and these guys are trying their butts off, and believe me, they're the last ones that want to go through a 7-minute scoring drought. Okay, I mean, so they're trying to do what we ask, and sometimes they do it well, and we still don't score. But as I've said from the very beginning, they've been extremely coachable, and despite the losing, that's made them a fun group to be with and to work with.
Kevin, how are they handling the adversity?
I think okay. I've told them that losing can never be okay. You can't ever become okay with losing, and I think they buy that. I think that comes very instinctive to most of them. So, it's one of the most difficult things as a coach is to continually create an expectation to win when you're losing. That's one of the most difficult things that I know of in coaching. But in terms of their attitudes, in terms of their spirit, we just had a very good practice, and so I think that they most days they've been really good.
Kevin, how do you approach playing Duke or any team so close together, 10 days apart or whatever? Can you carry some things over?
After you just got beat by 30 by them? You look at it as an opportunity for growth. You look at it as an opportunity for, okay, we played them 10 days ago or whatever it was, and we thought we had 10 or 12 minutes in the game where we competed pretty well. And the rest of the game, we were outplayed, outcoached, out everything, and so you hope that you can go into this game and make some adjustments to maybe counter some of the things that happened to you in the first game. But it's just an opportunity. It's an opportunity for growth. It's an opportunity to get better. And so what they did will certainly be fresh to us. What we did will be fresh to them. But we'll have to be, you know, a lot better, a lot better. Because I thought they were really, really good. And I think they've been playing really well. They've played a really good game against us, and they've played some really good games since. So, what's that? That's right.
What measures can you take to help Marcus get out of foul trouble or improve? Because it's kind of like almost like the guards are driving at him.
Yeah, you know, he just has to be he has to be more aware and more intelligent and more focused, just in terms of the plays that he tries to make defensively. And he did not have a good defensive game, I didn't think, at Syracuse. And some of it had a little bit to do with the fouls, but some of it didn't. And Marcus doesn't have blazing speed and quickness, so he has to be really smart and really in tune to what his job is and how he's going to do it on certain nights to compensate if the guy he's guarding. He's guarding the quickest guys in this league. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's Duvall or Frank Howard or, I mean, you can go down the list in this league of terrific point guards. He's got a hard job every night, and so he's just got to grow and as he gets more experience, get better at defending his position.
With some of these struggles that he's had and that Shamil's had through these 6 conference games here, I mean, is it a situation where for you, from how you see it, that given how they did during non-conference play and how well they did, where there maybe with that step up in competition, maybe it's sometimes trying to do too much?
Yeah, I think that's the tendency of young players anyway, is when struggles hit, what they did in high school was they just stuck their head down and started dribbling and tried to go get a basket or get fouled. And what happens in this league is those guys get swallowed up by 6'10", 6'11" guys inside that are more athletic than them and waiting on them. So some of it's an experience thing. Some of it is an adjustment to a level of play that they've never experienced. And, you know, sometimes I think quite naively they think, oh, well, I played against him in AAU, and I played against him in AAU. Yeah, but you didn't play against all 5 of them in AAU at the same time. You know, each one of those guys had a guy that probably wasn't that good on their team in AAU. Yeah. And now that doesn't exist anymore. Everybody that you play against was the best guy on their AAU team. So I think some of it is a maturity process, a growth process, and then some of it is just trusting your teammates and trusting the system of play that if you execute it, it will work. And that's another issue with young guys, is they don't trust sometimes, and because it's not easy anymore, and it's not going to be easy.
Based on your experience, Kevin, how long does it take for that lesson to, I guess on average, eventually sort of settle in for these guys that, some of the stuff I'm maybe trying to do, I can't really do that anymore. I play more with myself.
I think it depends on the guy, and see, it's where it's devastating for us not to have a guy like Ryan who would demonstrate to them on a daily basis without ever saying it, or on a gamely basis. Here's how you do it without ever saying it, because Ryan's a guy that plays within himself, and so they would see a constant example that they could look to and draw upon and draw confidence in, and we don't have that, and so I thought that was the thing that was kind of exciting about the second half against West Virginia was we started feeling each other a little bit, and okay, Ryan started making plays, and then other guys started making plays, and all of a sudden we generated this confidence and this collectiveness that we need, and then when we lost Ryan, then obviously we lost a lot of that, and we're still floundering a little bit, but and it's not our players' fault. They just don't have upper class examples of this is the way it's done. So they're out there trying to make their own mistakes and figure it out. So it depends on the player. And, you know, Marcus's turnovers have been pretty high, but he has a tremendous amount of ball handling responsibility on our team. And so you can't fault him because he's got the ball so much and has to do a lot of our creating.
You talk to these guys at all about walking into Cameron Indoor on a Saturday night, Duke's ranked where they are, and what the experience is going to be like?
No, no. We just tried to get better in practice today, and we'll talk about some of that tomorrow a little bit more. But I think they have a pretty good idea of what the environment's like, and you know, it's obviously one of the great places in college basketball, and so I'm sure from that standpoint they look forward to it, but we haven't addressed that. Probably don't really need to, because they're pretty aware.
Kevin, is it maybe dangerous is the wrong word, but counterproductive to keep mentioning Ryan's loss? Maybe this team uses his loss as a crutch.
No,
we'd be pretty good if Ryan were here.
No, I'm not saying we would be. I'm not saying that we would be any better than 0-6 or whatever it is if Ryan were here. I'm just saying that in terms of our players' development, that would be. He was a great guy for them to be able to watch. I'm not saying that our record would be one game different. I don't have any way of knowing that. And so it's not a thing. If Ryan were here, we would be fine. I mean, that we're going to have some struggles if Ryan was here or not, probably. Okay, that's my very educated guess. So no, I'm not putting a crutch out there for them. I'm only mentioning that because most freshmen have upperclassmen that they can watch and learn from, and this group doesn't really. And so he was the one guy with experience that they would have been able to look to and draw some confidence from, and an idea of how to do things. And I thought that was coming together a little bit before he got hurt. But no, I'm not. We could have the same exact record as we have right now if he were playing. I don't have any way of knowing that.
Is that the way you saw Parker shoot in practice? How he shot at Syracuse?
You just know that Parker's capable of making shots. I mean, you just watch him shoot over and over again. He's got a pretty flawless release. He's in here nonstop. I mean, he comes in on his own and shoots at night, almost practice or not. I mean, he's in here all the time, and so and he still managed to get I don't know, incredibly high grade point average for a semester. But anyway, I'm surprised that he was able to do it against their zone, because, you know, not many people get 13 threes off, let alone make 7 of them against that zone, because that you know, that's one of the best ones in the country every year, and it's good this year, really good. And so what he did there the other night was very impressive.
How much does he sort of fit the traditional profile, I guess, what people think about, kind of like the quintessential coach's son?
Yeah, I think that I think that there's a lot of that in him. I don't know that he's the quintessential, but I think there are some stereotypes that would go into, you know, he can shoot, he's, you know, whatever, coachable, but he's really a joy to coach. I wish I could get him. He's so doggone quiet. I wish I could get him to talk a little more, but other than that, he tries to do everything the way we ask him to do it. And I know you guys have heard me say that before, but he really tries to do what we ask, and offensively, defensively, and he's improved greatly this season, I think, as a result of that.
Was there anyone kind of unexpected in there, like an old teacher or like somebody you hadn't heard from in years who was?
No, I just heard from a lot of people from back home, and just heard from a lot of people from around here too. Actually, like sent me like DMs on Twitter and stuff like that. So that was pretty cool.
Did your dad say anything about it or watch it?
Yeah, he watched the game. Well, he sits there, but he actually doesn't like look at the game. I guess they watched it on the computer, and my mom and my sister were watching it, and he was just sitting on the other side because he won't watch it. He says when he watches it, I don't like do good or something. So he was just over there, and he kept asking what happened or something. That's what they told me. But he sent me a text after the game and said like, proud of you and like good job, stuff like that.
He still wants you to do better. 'Cause he's like,
Yeah,
kind of
probably.
always has those high expectations for you.
Yeah, for sure. How he sees it, there's always room for improvement.
It
Anything.
was, I think it was your second three in the second half. There were like 14, 15 minutes left, and after that three, Jim Boeheim like ripped off his jacket, like his suit jacket. I don't know if anybody tipped you off on that, but as as a freshman, as somebody who was finishing up high school this time last year, I mean, is that kind of crazy to think about that you've gotten to that point where you're setting a freshman record, where you're getting a Hall of Fame coach to get so angry that he pulls off his jacket? Like, are you still processing that? Is it sort of surreal in some ways for you?
Yeah, I didn't actually see him rip off his jacket, Jim Boeheim, but I saw like a headline on Twitter or something that said like Parker Stewart made Coach Boeheim rip off his jacket, something someone else made him do, like some years ago. I forget who it was, but I didn't actually see when he did it. But that's pretty cool, I guess, if I think about it like that.
Yeah, I feel like it's usually refs who do that. Like it's a bad call. He doesn't.
Yeah.
It's different.
Syracuse has one of the toughest zones. Over the years, they've been known for their zone defense. What went into finding those open looks? Do you think that you were able to receive, and some even weren't open?
I think it's just trying to get the ball inside, really, because we don't have the size they do, obviously, and that size really helps their zone. That's why their zone's so good, because like everyone on the floor is over 6'5" pretty much, ranging from like 6'5" to 7'2". So we can't really pass the ball over the top of them. So we have to kind of use pass fakes and then get the ball to inside, and then hopefully the zone will collapse in so we can kick the ball out for open shots.
So that's what happened that got you shots, you think?
Yeah, I hit a couple times. People drove, and that helps open them, get shots for the shooters too, because then when someone's driving, those guys have to help in, and then a few I hit off the dribble, I just felt I was open, so just kind of got in range and shot it.
There was one.
You guys feel as a team that you're making progress, and maybe we're not seeing some of the things you feel like you guys are taking some steps?
Yeah, I think if you see our team right now from the beginning of the year, we've came a long way, for sure. And I think the Syracuse game and the Virginia Tech game, we actually had a chance to win the game, like late in the game, and then turnovers happen and things like that. But we could have 2 wins right now, in my opinion. But I think as a team, we've come a long way, for sure.
Parker, there was a point, one of your threes you made was top of the key, was a pretty long one. The video study, the next day, maybe the coaches tell you, hey, it's nice to make it, but it's pretty far out.
No, he never said anything about it. He knows if I'm open, he wants me to shoot it, and he trusts I won't shoot a shot that I can't hit. So any shot I'm shooting out there is one I trust myself I can make.
Did you feel there was a lot on your shoulders in that game because of the zone, and it might maybe tough to move it inside? The perimeter was the best way to score against Syracuse.
Yeah. Anytime you're playing the zone, really, you're gonna have to hit shots if you want to give your team a chance to win. So I tried to hit as many as I could, and try to give my team the best chance.
Did he tell you
to win?
Go ahead.
Yeah, he said keep shooting. He won't ever tell me to quit shooting the ball. I don't think ever, unless I'm just shooting air balls or something, just having a terrible night. Then he might say, all right. So,
We were talking a little bit earlier with Coach Stallings, and he was saying that he's admittedly he's not that patient of a person, but this year he's, with so many first-time guys, he's sort of had to be. I mean, have you as a player, how much have you noticed that in him? Obviously not knowing him well before you got here, but how much have you noticed that?
I think he is, and he has a lot of patience with us because we're young. He knows we haven't played at this level, and I think sometimes at the beginning of the year, he wanted us to learn stuff like super fast right then, but then everyone kind of saw like we couldn't really learn it that quick, and then but he's always had a lot of patience with us, and tries to show us exactly what he wants us to do so we can do it his way.
Is there any sort of example, I know you had mentioned how earlier in the year when you guys to pick it up quickly, in your experience or from teammates you've seen in practices, is there kind of one example of that? Is there one moment that kind of stands out where it was like, okay, wow, I can try he's trying to do something he maybe doesn't typically do, where he's trying to show more patience than he's usually maybe capable of?
An example I would use is some things may happen where you would look at coach and be like, uh-oh, he's about to get upset, or he might scream or something, but no, he's calm, and he just not really, when somebody does something wrong, it's not like he's upset at them. He just wants them to learn. So he won't just yell at you and start screaming at you. He'll just talk to you and tell you what you did wrong.
Parker, Kevin said earlier that sometimes you'll come in here at night and shoot on your own. How often do you do that? Do you come in here and after, when there's no practice, you don't have to be here, that you come in here and shoot baskets?
In the off season, I came back here every single night, almost every night in the off season, and ever since the season starts, I don't come every night now, but I probably still come 2-3 times a week every night. With traveling and we're in season, I gotta try to save my legs, but I still shoot every day. After practice is over, I get up shots.
And you said you were able to keep your grades up at the same time.
Yes, sir.
How were you able to do that?
That's just something I've always done. My family always wanted me to get high grades all throughout high school, so that's just something I'm used to. That's something I know I'm supposed to do.
What was your grade point in the last semester?
I had a 3.8, I think, yeah.
When you're coming here every night in the off season, what else do you like to do outside of basketball? Growing up, has it always been kind of your top priority? What other hobbies or stuff that? 'Cause it's nothing really has gotten in the way if you're here every single night.
Yeah. In high school, I went to the gym a whole lot too, but my dad's a coach, so I could always go to his gym whenever I wanted. But outside of that, I used to play Xbox, stuff like that. I don't play anymore. But if I'm not in the gym or class, I'm probably just at the dorm, just hanging out, really. Eating some food. I like eating food.
Given your dad's job, Parker, was it difficult at times, growing up, moving around a whole lot, having to sort of establish yourself and meet new people in the various places that you would move?
Yeah, I moved a few times throughout my childhood. And fortunately, once I got to high school, we didn't go anywhere else. But so I went to 2 different high schools, but one was only for a year in Ohio. Then we went down to Tennessee, and that's where I finished high school out. And I enjoyed it down there. So I don't think it was too bad, though. I was kind of like adjusted to it, every situation.
Where did you learn that first Duke game?
I'd say we can't come out in the game and have a slow start how we did the game before. And actually, we didn't attempt a shot till like 2 or 3 minutes into the game or something like that. So we need to not turn the ball over and try to get a shot every possession, keep ourselves in the game.
You guys obviously just played in a pretty historic arena. Are you excited about playing at Cameron?
Yeah, I'm excited for that trip. It should be a good game, hopefully. Looking forward to it.